For more on this, we're joined by the Arts and Culture Minister Nathi Mthethwa, who's joining us via our virtual platform. Minister, very good evening to you. Welcome to News at Prime. So I'd imagine just as the President is doing, you too are beaming with pride tonight.
Well, yes, it's an important one. It's the success of the arts and culture story of South Africa. And every South African should be proud of what is happening. We are proud as government because what it means is that our approach to arts and culture, which is evidence-based, led by research, is correct to say that South Africa is and has been making its mark known in the world platforms on arts and culture.
You say it is the South African story, but South African artists feel very much that it's not necessarily the South African story. They feel that the story of South African artistry is one of struggle and one where they have to make do for themselves. What is the department pledging to do to make sure that many more are empowered to reach the levels that someone such as Black Coffee has been able to reach all by his doing, really?
Well, that's the narrative. It's a frame of things. But the government, through the department, has always supported the artists, both in terms of skills development, in terms of the entities we have in all the domains of culture. So the support, for instance, if we talk of from Mzansi Golden Economy and talking of touring ventures, which is specifically an aspect of exposing South African artists worldwide, coupled with the Seasons programs, where we take South African artists all over the world to showcase our own South African talent and arts and culture. Mm-hmm. What is true, though, in that story is that the struggling artist would be there because the rand will reach a particular point. The stretching of the rand, insofar as government is concerned, would always have limitations. But even some of the artists who are making it to the world, as the department and as government, we've been with them, we've supported them. If you talk of Thuso Mbedu, for instance, who also is making it out there in the world. We really have a situation in South Africa where I think that more and more of our own should be celebrated and supported by South Africans. Not that they don't, they do, because if you look at the issue of Black Coffee, for instance, he's a big name international, but also here in South Africa, they do support South Africa.
Pardon me for jumping in here, Minister. The issue of support is not one that South African creatives, artists battle with. I mean, they are often supported. What they say now, even on the back of this, is unless you make it internationally and are able to have a career that sustains itself, they are missing an environment that legally protects them, that financially supports and protects them in the long term, and that is where you should be coming in. For example, we're still waiting for the Performance Protection Amendment Bill to become law, right? And that is part of a framework they feel, and they say, in fact, would offer them better protection, allow them to be able to step comfortably into the next phase without worrying about the next paycheck, and that until we get those basics right, sadly, we cannot replicate the Black Coffees.
I'm not sure what you are talking about when you say Black Coffee cannot be replicated. The implication is that in South Africa, we may not produce the Black Coffees in future, and I don't think that is true. It's true what you are saying about the legal framework, the regulation of the industry and so on. But remember that Tembegile, part of the issue with the Copyright Amendment Bill and performance protection has been primarily creatives themselves not agreeing on the way forward. And that has played a role in the delay of this process. But from the executive point of view, we've pushed it is within Parliament, as you know now, and every opportunity we get, we stress to members of Parliament, to the other arm of the state, which is the legislature, to say that they must fast-track the process. But I can tell you that even after the passing of the two amendments or the two bills, you still are going to have a lot of issues within and amongst creatives themselves. So from the point of view of government, that is the executive, things have been done. We have engaged the creatives over a period of time, and now we are waiting the process in Parliament.
Let me ask you another question then. In the next year, what do we need to do with the leadership of the Arts and Culture Department to take the creative space in this country to greater lengths, a greater level for all involved?
Well, as I said, we are evidence-based. We don't unsuck in what we need to do. We are guided by the South African Cultural Observatory. As you know, that last week they were sharing with South Africans the outcomes of the mapping study for 2018-2021, which showed that there are things which need to be done. You know, one of the things, for instance, which is coming out of the research is the emphasis which we need to make and support of having our creatives understanding that their craft is not just entertainment, that is monetizing their craft. And this is what the outcome of the research is saying too. Inevitably, the period where we are in, coming from the COVID-19 sketch, we are in a situation and in a period where the digitization of the work is lifted as one of the ways to take things forward. But what is going to, and which is actually doing, lifting the area of arts and culture in our country, is to be good students and follow what has been said by research. Earlier on, the research said to us that part of the challenge we have is that we need to create spaces, creating spaces for the creatives. So this is what we've been doing for the past few years, starting from the community arts centers to playhouses in provinces, up to the highest level, which is academies, which we have supported over this period. And it's those academies which are propelling our people to the international level, and will continue to ensure that South Africa's arts and culture is understood and supported globally.
Two quick final questions, Minister. The first, I don't know if you were watching Newzroom Afrika yesterday. There was a conversation with artists who feel that part of the progress for the arts industry in this country lies in your stepping down, your resigning. Do you consider that at all to be something that you should do?
I don't have time for side shows, Tembegile. We are hard at work, we're doing our work. We just don't have time for cheap politicking.
Another one then, we're expecting President Ramaphosa to address the country in the next 29 minutes or so on the COVID-19 response in the country. Last time there was an announcement, what happened was that fans were allowed to go back to stadiums. What do you think would be most beneficial from a new set of regulations for the arts, sports and entertainment space?
Well, you would know that we have been consistent in charting the road and the route to opening up livelihoods in the space of arts, of sport and so on. What was announced last week was as part of what we've been pushing, which is 50% of the spaces for festivals, for sporting activities and so on. The only thing from where we are going forward would be a bonus for all of us, because if we have fully, back to our livelihoods, I think everybody is going to benefit. The economy is going to benefit. Creatives, athletes, and everybody are going to benefit out of the new situation.
Sport, Arts and Culture Minister Nathi Mthethwa, good to have your time, sir. Thank you very much.